Hi everyone. This has nothing to do with math, but I just wanted to show off my brand new boiler because I imagine this is not something that anyone has ever seen before because these things aren't very common except in, big buildings in New York. So I'm just going to show you how the whole thing works. It's very, very cool. So this is a steam boiler, not a hot water boiler. So there's 2 floors in this house, and on the second floor it's a hot water boiler, and that works. The water just goes up into the pipes, and there's 2 sets of pipes. So it comes out and then it returns. So it's going out this way, or maybe the other way, but it's going out this way, and then it goes out to the radiator and then comes back here, and then it goes back to the boiler. So there's an intake. So I think the water's going out this one. The water's going out this one, and then it up through the radiators, and then it comes back on this one. So with these, there's no steam, it's just hot water. And this is a water pump. So there's actually a water pump pushing the water through the house, through all the radiators. With steam, it's very cool because it's totally different than that. There's no return. If you look at a hot water radiator, there's two pipes that go into the radiator. There's an intake pipe, and so the water goes into the radiator, circulates through, and then goes back out and comes back down to the boiler. The amazing thing is if you ever see a radiator that only has one pipe going into it, that means that it's steam, not hot water. And it works in a completely different way. So here's the boiler. It's on right now, so the steam is heating up. So the steam comes out of these 2 pipes, and they come up here, and then they go out here, and then there's this pipe, which I'll tell you about in a second. So the steam, once the steam is hot, of course, it's expanded, and so it's it's coming out of there very fast, and then it's going up here, and it goes up and then back down. So now this is also a very interesting, this is also a very interesting point about this. So that the steam goes up, and then it comes back down, and then there's another pipe here, which we'll get to, but it goes down there, and then from the T over there, it comes up, and then it goes up there, and then here are the pipes out to the radiators. So there's a T right here. So this is the front of the house. There's one way up there in the living room, and then there's a couple back here. The kitchen's that way. The dining room is from that pipe from this pipe right there. That's for the dining room. And then there's the living room and a back bedroom. But there's only one pipe. So what's amazing about it is all that clanking is coming from the steam heating up the pipes. They're getting hot right now. The steam goes out and it pushes into all the radiators. And then once the house is warm, the thermostat turns off the boiler. Then the steam condenses, and the water then comes back along the same, it drips back. So there's a very slight tilt to this pipe coming all the way back. So after the water condenses, it trickles back here, comes down here, and it comes back. All of this is the exact same pipe that it came in before. So it comes down here, and then this is what's so cool about it. Remember, the steam went up here, over and down, and then through here and over there. When the water's coming back, the condensate it's called, when the water comes back, it doesn't go back into the boiler. It just keeps going this way. So then it comes down here, and then it goes all the way down here, across here, and then up and over and down, and then back into the bottom of the boiler. And then from here, it's heated again, makes steam again, and goes through again. This bizarre thing right here, I was just reading about this, it's called a Hartford Loop. And these systems they used to be so dangerous. They were all coal-fired, and they didn't have any safety features on them. And if the water was lost in the system, there was nothing to turn off the heat, and then the boilers would end up exploding and hurting people and destroying the buildings. So Hartford means Hartford Insurance Company demanded that that everybody install these loops in the system. And so what it does, the water goes down, and then it comes back up, and then before it goes down into the system, so that there's always this extra water here. And then, so that way, if the thing stops working, it can't all sort of escape the system because the level is right here. Oh, and there's one more piece here. Remember, the steam comes out of the boiler, and I think this is called the header, and then it goes up into the radiators here. But then there's also this pipe here. This is called the equalizer, and it's odd because it goes right back into the return of the water into the boiler. This is called the equalizer because it equalizes the pressure. So the steam is coming out and then it goes right back down. So all of this, I don't really understand it, but it's all about the safety of the thing, because I think that if the steam, it's something about, I think that if the boiler, the dangerous situation is if the boiler runs out of water, and then I think maybe the steam can go the other way and back up into the system or something like that. I'm not sure. So anyway, this pipe serves to equalize the pressure between the two sides to sort of, I think, smooth things out. The next thing that's very cool is this is the water gauge. So, and right now, the water is very low right now, it looks like, because it's on. So all the steam is out in the system. So the water's down here. And then when it turns off, the water goes all the way back up. So then, so then the other thing is, then there are these traps. So this is so cool. Water is so interesting to think about. So this is a trap which cleans out sludge, because there's always sludge coming down from the pipes. You don't want that to get into the boiler. So there's a trap here. So it goes, the sludge will come down and go down this way. And then this valve here, about once a week, we're supposed to open this valve and then it'll wash out the water and the sludge into this thing. And the cool thing about that, the thing that I love about that, is that it's only going to flush from here down, because then the rest of it has escaped back into the boiler, right? So you can open this, it'll just wash down this little part, and that's it. So this is a low water meter. You can see that if there's low water, that goes on and that shuts down the system. And then there's the lowest level that the water is supposed to be at, which will make this go off if it gets below that. And this thing, the steam pressure is actually very low. It's only like 1 psi is enough to make everything go. So if the pressure in the system gets too high, then this will also turn off the system. And I don't really know, there's two of these for some reason, I don't know, but that one you can see, I think they're both very low. So I'm not sure why there's two. This is the transistor for the electronics, and then that's the actual pressure, which is never very high. And so then the last thing is the water. So this is the water main coming in. So this is the same water that we drink. So it goes out to the sinks and things, but then it comes here. So there's a knob there to turn it on, and then it goes down, and it comes around here, and then it goes in here, and then here's another valve. So if we need to fill it up, we just turn this a little bit, and the water goes into the boiler so we can watch, and then when the level gets up to there, then you can turn it off again, and so on. And then the final piece is the gas, which is black instead of copper, and it comes around. Here's a valve for the gas, and then it goes down into, this is like the pilot is electronic. I'm not really sure what this is, but it has an on and off switch. So I think you prime it in some way, like you do a hot water heater or something. And then this is the water Oh, one last little lesson that I learned. These valves, until you're in the know, I never knew what's on and what's off. On is when the switch is parallel to the pipe. Off is when it's perpendicular. So this one is on, and that's just universal. So these three are all, that one and that one are all off. So learn something new. Okay. And then, oh, then there's one more control on here, which is also cool. There's even a damper. These things have gotten way more sophisticated than they were 100 years ago. So there's an electronic damper too that opens and closes based on, I guess, whether the system's running or not. I'm not sure, but you can see the power goes up there. One more thing. There's a couple of other than valves out. So this valve here you can use to drain the system, and you can see it's at the same level as the input, as the return for the water there, and it's at the same level. So that's sort of the bottom of where the water is, and then the burners are below that, and then the water is at that level. So if you need to just get rid of the water, you can do that. And then there's one more valve here, which is called something like the skimmer, which you use to, I guess there can be sludge at the top of the water level, and so you can use this to sort of skim off the sludge, I think. And then one last thing, this is another pressure valve that will blow to keep it. This is like at 15 PSI or something like that. So this will blow before the system explodes. So there's all sorts of safety stuff. So I think this is just totally cool. So I hope you enjoyed this. And next week we will get back to math. We'll finish with functions, and then we'll go back to the cardinality of finite sets. Something's happening, huh? It's always making noises in old houses. It's very cool. Okay, bye.